Hey, folks, I'm laughing already. Blake's here, just quickly grabbing a quick bite to eat. He's been in meetings all morning, and so we're lucky to have him here on the Political Nooner, Ghost Town Politics. I'm Rachel's Ghost. This is my buddy Blake. And basically, we like to go over the X platform, pull headlines and storylines that are happening in order to, I don't know, just pontificate and get some of our own. We're not looking to change the world here. It's just a great opportunity for us to just kind of share our thoughts. Blake and I are in a large degree of agreement with one another over all this stuff, this nonsense that goes on in our world. I mean, it's nuts out there. It's really nuts. They have one of the big stories right now, and I didn't pull it up or do anything, but just this guy that was out on parole already for, I think he sexually molested a 12-year-old boy or something. And then he went and he attacked a 3-year-old girl. And, and the reports are like the poor child is barely speaking. So this guy who's attacked one person out on parole, it's the absolute state of, yeah, he was out on bail. And then he goes and attacks this girl, ruining her life at the age of 3, fucking her up entirely. And so this is the absolute state of things here in Canada. Okay, the Political Nooner, Bill Gates is in the headline of today's show, Epstein Island, all this kind of nonsense. So apparently, I guess I got the clip. I can play a clip of it. So the first thing we'll play is this Bill Gates. I'm sure I got it somewhere. Yeah, he's like 5 or so down. And then we'll get into Canada. We got some Canada news, all sorts of shit breaking out in England. David Lammy, of all people, is deputy prime minister. And then they got some Abub Mahmoud is like their secretary, foreign secretary or something. It's just nuts over there. So England's an absolute dumpster fire right now, United Kingdom. There's just nobody's getting out alive. So let's play the clip. This is enough to send horrors down MAGA's backs everywhere. Wall Street Marv writes, Bill Gates. Do you want to read? I'll do it. Bill Gates, the president and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. Tip, avoid taking health advice from a person who supports global human depopulation. I think there's a clip for us to play. It's a couple of minutes. Let's roll it.
Well, I'm in the second phase of my career, giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health in areas like vaccines or gene editing. And the president and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. He mentioned polio, which is one that we're close. We don't need new science on that one. For some like HIV and sickle cell, we do need new science, but the U.S. Has the seeds that in the same way that Warp Speed took those seeds and put them together, I think something fantastic can be done. AI for our foundation is that we want a doctor for everyone in Africa through AI. We want farmers to have incredible advice and kids to have a chance to learn. So the work being done by the people at this table is changing the world. It's coming fast, so it's great. We all get together and talk about how the U.S. can lead in this key area and apply it even to the poorest outside the U.S. as well as to our great citizens. So thank you for incredible leadership, including getting this group together.
Okay, so the president got Gates there, Mark Zuckerberg. It's like a who's who of people we hate.
Was Elon at the table there? I didn't see that.
Elon was not there, significantly not there. and he should have been there. If you're going to get a round table of tech leaders, Elon Musk is arguably the most important of the bunch. Bill Gates is problematic for MAGA for a number of reasons, well documented, a few of which we can really talk about on this platform. Suffice to say, he's a depopulation guy. And, he's no doctor, but he's got a lot of influence. And I don't know. I don't like it. And now, Trump's kind of a naive guy sometimes. Like our critics, Blake, particularly for me, less so for you. You're more critical than I am, but I support Trump in a lot of measures. But and it still remains to be seen whether Trump's just kind of laying this guy out and putting out Gates so he can kind of get himself in some trouble. I don't know. I just not comfortable with Bill Gates talking about innovation on anything. So I don't like it.
His record for HIV is very good either.
Yeah, HIV was bad.
They tested that on African children.
I know, but hold on. We got to be very careful what we say on this channel about all that shit,
I didn't say the V word.
No, I know, but even so,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Fair
It's
enough.
just, it's razor thin with YouTube and all that. But anyway, so your thoughts on Bill Gates? Are you a fan, or what's the story, Blake?
Not a fan, and haven't been a fan, even though I use his products with Windows, but not a fan at all. I think the guy has been a corrupt businessman pretty much from the foundations when he first began. When you hear the stories about how he basically stole coding from other programmers to create Windows and DOS, he basically took over and cornered the market on it. And literally some of the, I guess, the brawls he used to have quietly and behind the scenes with Steve Jobs and Wozniak. And they were near I guess he ended up pitching some money in to take it all over, right? To, when they were in trouble, because they needed competition, because the government was already breathing down his neck that he was anti-competitive. He was using he got nailed by the Clintons. They went after him with the antitrust laws, as we all remember from the Netscape years. And that sort of created that. But there's something not right about that guy. When you're a people reader like I am, I read people's body language, I listen to what they say. There's something not right with him. There never has been. He doesn't seem to be I don't know what the term would call it, because I'm not a clinical doctor who can say this guy's a psychopath, but he's definitely got tendencies to fall within the sociopathic side for sure. But I mean, it's not like he's hidden back his views on world population, which is amazing. It's going against everything. Elon, like, they're the polar opposite. Elon's like, humanity needs to expand. We're in trouble. We're in decline. And Gates is on the side is, we've got too many people. We got to get rid of.
Which is wrong. It's totally
wrong. And then it's interesting that he would go into the medical field. Now, I understand there's a lot of money to be made there as a business. I would see, there's a lot of money to be made and innovation there. That's all the positive words. And I think that's what he's really good at doing on that side, is he can portray visions from the tech side and say, I see all these, but the backside of it is it's not for the betterment of all of humankind.
I don't think this guy's altruistic in any way.
Exactly. He's a phony, right? He can put on a big production. When people are, and the left loves to do this, anyone on the right that may have a contrary view to a medical viewpoint, right? What's their response? Oh, that's not science. You're not a scientist. You don't have the training, blah, blah. You're not the specialist. Yet they parade and they're fine with Bill Gates, who'd never even graduated from frickin' college, right? This guy never graduated college. So he doesn't even have a degree. Now, that's okay. He's an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. That's all he is. But don't bring him out there and parade him like he's some incredible guy that's going to save the world. He as a as a businessman, he's done well. Obviously, he's done very well as a business for maybe all the wrong reasons, but he's done a lot of monopolies and he's done a lot of things that were bad that I wouldn't think is free market oriented.
He exploited IBM's failure to recognize the importance of software and operating system for their personal computers,
which was brilliant. That was brilliant. I mean, he exploited their weakness and he basically beat them up. Right. So, and what was it? At one point, I think 90% of the world's computer systems were controlled by him.
Well, using Microsoft Windows, and that's still the case. 90% of the thing is on that.
There's a funny video came out yesterday. You're watching where they took that where he's speaking and they've put over his voice via AI, and it's hilarious. It's about Epstein, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was pretty humorous.
Yeah, this is the other thing entitled today, Epstein's Island. They released a bunch of documents. A lot of them are redacted. Apparently, nothing's really new in any of this, apparently. And the whole idea, the left wants to get Trump on there. And, I'm the first to tell you got nothing. Rosie O'Donnell was being on some podcast or something. She says that Trump paid $1 billion to Jeffrey Epstein. Totally unsubstantiated, no basis in fact or truth, just, her twisted conscience. Absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of Rosie, one of Trump's favorite targets, he says, I'm thinking maybe we should take her citizenship away. She doesn't live in the country and she's a horrible person, according to Trump. I just laugh at this this is the bread and circus. This is a Trump that his base likes. People like me like it. The rest of the world kind of freaks out. The left absolutely just trips over themselves with that kind of comment.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're going to be able to link him to Epstein Island. I don't think he was ever there. I just think there's 0-0 there because Biden or any of the other Democrats that have been around, this story's been going around for years. They could have taken him down with Biden and protected their own people just by having their paid off judges go, we're not going to admit this. We're not talking about this person, inadmissible. The only one we want to get is Trump. That's the only one we're talking about. And that's going to be the rules of the case. And they would have done it, and they could have done it, and they would have done it if they could have done it. And, why go to the trouble and make Russia, fake hassle stories just to torpedo the guy? That, when you got, the mother of all PR disasters on Trump's doorstep because he's having illicit affairs with children, right? Yeah. There's nothing there. That's my take. Your take?
100%. I think that when I was reading that there's something in the area of Trump's organized something like 30 different task forces that are digging through all different areas. Not talking about Epstein, but that's just one of many. Yeah. Like the entire FBI has a task force to deal with the corruption within the FBI, within the CIA, within, all the intelligence agencies, within all the bureaucracies, the IRS. They're all being grilled right now. And I think to focus in on a single distraction, which is a big one for MAGA, it is a big one. We want justice. Everybody wants to see justice. That will happen. But I think he's got his teams in place. They're doing what they're doing. And quite frankly, this is in some ways great because it keeps the Democrats focused over there right now, whining about this.
Yeah.
And they're spinning their wheels. They're all over the place. So they've got a midterm they got to fight next year. Trump's like moving at another form of warp speed. He's like 10 steps ahead of them. Like, yeah, you guys are way back there now. I'm moving forward. We're fixing America. We're making America great again. Epstein's one of many problems. Mm-hmm. He's, but he's saying, the media is starting to focus on it because I think it's part of it is a mass distraction. I think that's part of it. They want to get the focus off of his other goals, which is to clean up all the bureaucracies, right? You've got deep staters dug in many different levels, and now he's going after them in other countries. Like, I mean, what a scene where, he's basically the shot heard around the world to drug narco dealers and the foreign countries supporting it should be made aware, including you, Canada. Be awake. You're allowing fentanyl dealers to operate here. When he took out that boat, when they took that and said, that's it, there's 11 guys on there full of shipment of fentanyl. They've been tracking it, and boom, gone. No court case, nothing, international waters. It's a freaking war. The war is on. You guys have been killing thousands of us. We're hitting you hard, right?
Yeah.
Just like they did treat them on the same level as Osama bin Laden and 9/11. You guys are now got targets on your back.
Okay, well, let's look at Canada vis-a-vis the United States in this very issue. So, Sue, I've got a link down here. It's called Canada Border. This is worth our time. And then following immediately on that, I've got another one called what did I call this thing? Annexation. So that'll be the one right after that. I'm going to play these in quick succession. Then I'm going to let you pundit on it, Blake. But I want to play both of these first, or discuss both, and then we'll turn it over to you. Attorney General Pam Bondi, just announced the expansion of a task force, JTFA, to cover the northern border with Canada to further crack down on cartels, human trafficking, and transnational criminals. Play the clip, Scozy.
We are now expanding Joint Task Force Alpha. It has 5 steps. We will now cover, the task force will now cover our northern border in Canada, of course, and all of our maritime borders. Our incredible partner again at DHS, Christy Nome, and I are expanding this to include our DEA, ATF, and FBI agents to this task force to give us even more manpower. We will receive more resources to prosecute these cases, and key figures in cartel, human trafficking, and transnational criminals. We are now expanding.
All right, so Canada border, and then I got another one right now, Sue, of the annexation one. So let's take a look at this, because here's the implication of what Pam Bondi is doing. Zachary Tisdale, this guy's great. He's all about Canada, the 51st state. He posts constantly about it. I love it. America is going to annex Canada for national security reasons, CTV News. Pam Bondi says human trafficking across the border with Canada is getting worse. So this is really amazing stuff. Could this end up being a legitimizing factor as to why Trump may just continue to squeeze Canada? And believe you me, we're going to get into it. The squeeze is on, and the squeeze is on big time. We got the stats. We're going to talk about that very shortly. Blake, take it away.
Well, and again, when they're saying it's a joint task force as well, that Canada is involved with that. And of course, Carney's very careful not to say anything with that, because we already have joint task force militarily that still work together. So in this case, I think that makes sense. They need to do something about it. I think, how does that relate into the pressure that Canada is falling? I don't know. I think this falls into still, I'm going to hold on to my prediction that I think Carney is the receivership manager that has been brought in for Canada. He's moved all his assets to the United States. Brookfield's moved to the U.S. Trump endorsed him. Trump still calls him like he's a great guy. He doesn't hammer on him personally, which is interesting. He doesn't give him some, when he gets mad at somebody, they get a pet name, right? That's what happens with Trump. And it's not a very nice pet name. And he's, Trudeau was governor, right? He was downgrading.
Yeah, Governor Trudeau. Yeah, wasn't that beautiful?
And Carney, he hasn't done that with Carney at all.
No,
which is interesting is that, as I said, my prediction is Carney's basically, he's the receivership manager for Canada. Canada is so broken. I don't think it could ever fix itself at this point. Financially, it's a basket case. It's falling apart. We've seen the kleptocratic activities of governments at all levels. These guys are like they're packing cash out the doors because they know the ship is sinking, and we're just being told, the BS lies, much like old Baghdad Bob did during the Iraq Gulf War, saying, things are fine, we'll drive the infidels out. Meanwhile, bombs are falling behind him in Baghdad. Carney is, I believe he is working that. I think it's only inevitable. I think the fact is Canada is surrounded with very powerful geopolitical forces. Canada, when it made this statement that we are a post-national state, it says we no longer have an identity, which says to the world we are weak. Those that do have an identity, like America, like China, like India, like Russia, those countries believe in themselves. They are nationalist countries. They believe in their mission of expansion and empire. And Canada's right in the middle. I'm not worried as much with the EU because they're kind of like a broken mix of different countries trying to hold it together. But I think those countries surrounding us in the north, because they are, Russia is just on the other side. And so China has declared that they are an Arctic nation, which is hilarious. They're not even on the Arctic, but they have. They declared themselves an Arctic nation.
Of course they have. Of course they have.
And so Canada is sitting there going, well, we're going to play footsies with everybody because we're no longer a nation that has its own values and stands strong believing in Canada. So we are being gutted from within, from foreign influence, from corruption. And I'm telling you right now, the natural instinct for the Americans is that we can't allow Canada to fall into a hellhole like a Cuba of the North or North Korea, broken up with subterfuge going on in all different directions. So it's inevitable. I think the choice will be is America will have to come in and say, for national security purposes, either they will change out the regime quietly behind the scenes, or they're going to have the leader of Canada, Carney, who's going to walk us through the steps of an economic union and merger. And that's the way I think it's going to be. I don't think it'll be some annexation. I think that's what he wants. Tisdale's been like a big, annexation proponent. I don't believe in annexation. I don't think that would go over well. I think there'd be a lot of pissed off people. It's going to be a merger through a union, North American Union, Fortress North America. Canada will appear to be like a sovereign country that's joining forces with the United States, financially, all of our security, all of that will merge. And then it's basically in two steps, right? That happens for a little bit. We're like an EU of North America. Mexico will probably have to come into that fold as well. Well, because they've got their own cartel problems and influence issues there. And we saw the video, they're having brawls inside their legislature.
The cartel is controlling their government. And one of their politicians said, basically, everybody's corrupted, paid off. It's a mess.
Well, and if you believe what what Sam Cooper has been writing, and I'm pretty confident in his writing, but the cartels are being controlled by China now. And China has influenced the cartel power with their triads. Their triads are the foot soldiers who corrupt the ground with drugs, illegal activities in your country. But they'll never do that in China. That's the difference. China, you do that, you get killed.
Yeah,
right?
we'll kill you. Yeah.
But they're useful to their purposes to dismantle and destabilize other nations so that they can walk in quietly. There's no ground troops. There's no physical war that we see. Not like you see Russia and Ukraine, but China's way to do it is they erode you from within, and it's the long game. They go after your cultural, political institutions. They're using capitalism against us by creating companies owned by them to come in and buy up real estate, buy up critical minerals, and doing it that side. But they've also influenced the cartels. The cartels is their funding arm. They fund the cartels to create absolute chaos and becoming rich to destabilize our countries. And Sam Cooper's clearly has been really good at following this story. So I think America has no choice to defend itself. Of course. It's got to that boat blowing up. That was a signal to the world. That was a signal to China. We're not effing around anymore. We're not going to take 2 years getting you guys in front of judges and blah, blah, blah. No, you're out there doing that. You're now a terrorist. You're on the list. We're just going to hit you.
Yeah, we're just going to bomb you.
Yep. Yeah. You're doing battle, and that's what it is. But I think that's what's going to happen. Canada will become part of the USA, and it will come from the left because Carney's their guy. They're the big elbows up thing, and they keep pushing it from that. And I think that's the next step. And because Carney's done nothing, Carney could have settled this months ago. He could have had a meeting, said, "Yeah, we agree. Let's just get her done." Right? Nope. No, it's not. Why? Because you have to bankrupt the country completely.
Well, we got a couple of stories related to all of this. Okay, so we've got the tariffs going. The squeeze is on Canada big time. Do you want to do the unemployment one, Sue? It's the Toronto Star. They went and posted on it.
So the
It's
CBC.
just it's the same thing that you were looking at, and we'll let your comment because you had some really good comments on that too, Blake. But essentially, folks, here's the situation in Canada right now. Our unemployment rate has risen to 7.1. This was predicted, actually, in August as the economy shed, get this, 66,000 jobs. Now, I don't know where all this is coming from. I'm not looking at the nuts and bolts of it, Blake, but by anybody's metric, that is just bad, frickin' bad news. 66,000 jobs gone. We've got this temporary foreign worker problem. Canadians can't get jobs, and now we're shredding another 66K. So to me, that is that. Do you feel some of that's related to the tariffs, or what are we looking at here? Where is this happening? Have you had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I have. I did. I looked at the CBC version. They actually had a graph, which was really important. Maybe we can pull that up if possible. Yeah. The graph, because the graph within the article shows that this isn't a 1 month issue. This is a month after month after month shedding of jobs, unemployment rate growing across the country. And of course, the left wing and our propagandist media, because we're using, what's really good is we're actually using legacy media, regime media stats who typically would have a very watered down version of what the government wants you to see. So what we're seeing, in my opinion, is a tip of the iceberg. We're actually not seeing the real results. Right, because the results they're getting is, to a point where I think they're hiding a lot. They're hiding the biggest number. The biggest number is the shedding of not just jobs, but the billions of dollars that are fleeing the country in investment dollars. They said within the first quarter, I believe it was the first quarter of 2025, something like $500 billion in investment money left Canada. And that continues to flow. I've been, obviously I can't say who it was, but I've been speaking to a few very prominent business people within my circles. And all of them, and I'm not saying these people hold any kind of political axe to grind. These people are business people. They're very pragmatic. They'll work with any government as long as they're common sense driven on when it comes to business principles. And they're all saying the same thing. Every industry is in trouble in Canada. It's not just, one specific industry tied to a tariff. The tariffs, let's remember, the tariffs have only impacted for less, I think 16% of Canada's trade, where 84, I could be incorrect, but approximately 83 or 84% of Canada's tariff, what people thought were tariff, are currently under the U.S., Canada, and Mexico agreement that are protected and have not been tariffed, right? That's the thing. They have not been tariffed. It's just the threat of tariffs. So they're still trading most of those goods. So there was already a decline happening before Trump was elected. This has been ongoing for years. We're hitting, for the first time, we're hitting COVID era losses of jobs. And that's kind of what we're seeing. And you're not even looking at August. August was just as bad. I think this fall, we may see the biggest numbers ever in our history next to the Great Depression of people losing their jobs, because there's so many things changing, right? There's so much changing in industry. It's not just the fear of tariffs, but it has been 10 years of economic decline, overspending. The only industries that are growing for jobs has been the public service. That's it. Government jobs is the only thing, which is the way a government can augment or fake the jobless numbers so that they can say, oh, well, look at all these jobs created. Well, those were created with government money. They're not real jobs. They're phantom jobs. They're being taken from either borrowing money, and it's temporary to pad the stats. So most of these all come out before an election. They amp it all up. They announce all this spending. They say creating jobs. They, as I said, pad the numbers, offsets all that by massive public spending. and that public spending that's a problem. We're getting to the point where I think in some areas it's 40% of the population is tied to government jobs of some form or another, or contracts. But actual direct employees is 25%. So a quarter of our population who work, not counting retirees, right? We have a huge boomer population retired in Canada, and they're taking roughly a 25 to 28% benefits, where historically that we'd never have that many of our population that have to survive off of the benefit structure. That's not going to be sustainable. They've already said, like, we're talking about pushing CPP out till 75. You won't they'll cancel OAP, right? These are programs for retirees that were,
legacy. Back to work, everybody goes.
Well, yeah, sorry, you're retired. Well, not anymore, because you can't afford your home. They've outpriced your being able to live in your home. And I think this comes down to those that have created that wanted to see us go that direction, hoping that there would have been an alternate win in the United States, which would have then just advanced that even quicker, that you will own nothing and be happy. They would, be driven out of your own home. They're doing it in British Columbia through land claims decisions, devaluing your real estate. And again, British Columbia is a major part of the Canadian economy. This has all changed. So when you see this flight of cash and loss of jobs, that is the end. You can't stop that unless you have a Trump-like character who can come in and say, no, let's make Canada great again, and do that. But I don't know if it may be too late.
So the article, or this is just Google noticing here, Canada's, and this is from Stats Can. So, and again, Stats Canada, are they downplaying the real story here, right? Maybe the number is a lot higher, but what they're willing to admit is the result of international transactions and securities generated a net outflow of funds. 16.2 billion from the Canadian economy in May, a fourth consecutive month of net outflows, bringing the total 83.9 billion over the 4-month period. So now, of course, you're suggesting it's going to be reflected in August, is going to do the same thing as July. We're in September, so we're going to be able to see the August numbers sooner than later. That is just bad news, man. It's bad news for Canada. And the squeeze is on with the tariffs and everything, that Trump's doing. So Canada, is a big dumpster fire. Now let's move along.
Yeah, Canada has no gold reserves either. Anything to back up it has. They sold it all off. It's got nothing. There's nothing there but land and assets.
Okay, let's go to Brian Lilly. The number one is EV mandate. This is electric vehicles, electric vehicles. The whole idea, save the planet. Canada is in such dire straits right now. Carney gave a speech, and the speech is horrible. It basically says that we're rupturing. His word, Canada is rupturing right now. And he says the traditionally strong tie that we have for the United States, a safety net, as it were, is no longer in place, that he's looking to Europe because America can't help Canada. Now, I don't know whether that's politicking, and I think it is. I think he's just,
I agree.
There's no hope in Europe, for the love of God. They're sinking fast too. But here's the guy himself, with Jolie in behind him, the little babe. Play the clip here. This is from Brian Lilly. EV mandate is paused but not forgotten.
Some of it is about regulation. So to add flexibility to the automotive sector, we will remove the 2026 electric vehicle availability standard, which specifies the share of new vehicle sales that must be electric next year. This will provide immediate financial relief to automakers at a time of increased pressure on their competitiveness. And the government will begin immediately a 60-day review of the EV standard to identify future flexibilities and ways to reduce costs. And we'll advance new options to bring more and more affordable electric vehicles to Canadians. And fifth.
Okay. So really interesting. So, the big talk, we're saving the planet, we're the environmentalists and all this, of course, it's all bullshit. But so now he comes in with this and he goes, we're going to suspend that because the Canadian auto sector, because of Trump's tariffs, are squeezing the hell out of it. It's dying, if not already dead. We just had the EV battery that the Canadian pension plan was invested in with something like $500 million.
220 million, I think it was. Yeah.
220 million was the number. Anyway, that money went little wings on it. It went out the window. That money is gone. It's lost. This big battery plant. It was based on, I think, a Swiss or a Swedish company that had come in Canada, invested, and it invented the already struggling Canadian pension plan into it. Absolute frickin' disaster. So with all this kind of pressure, now he says we're going to suspend the EV thing. Not only that, but he says we're going to invest $5 billion more into the Canadian economy now with more government jobs, more government spending. Therefore, it's deficit spending.
Yeah,
it sucks to be you. Trump gave Canada the shaft. Canada deserved the shaft it got. Canada deserves every fucking thing it gets. Trump is dealing masterfully with Canada. Canada deserves to be bitch slapped. And I, as a Canadian, I'm happy to see it happening. And God bless President Trump in this regard. I believe Blake and I were just talking. I think there's going to be some sort of restructuring in Canada. It's going to come under the American umbrella. It's going to be brought to heel. Right now, Canada is not a friend to the United States. And Carney, basically, although he's paying lip service to the notion, let me try and grab that Carney speech today. I want to say he goes into French. I should have kept it earlier because well, no, it's not that speech. It's the same session. Carney speech, rupture about Canada. It is absolutely fascinating to watch. Yeah. Okay. This is it. Okay. Here it is. I'll play it. Carney's speech. Look at this. This is unbelievable. The headline reads, let me make it bigger so we can all read it. New Mark Carney delivers a grim speech to Canada. What's going on is an economic rupture. Announces many changes to employment insurance as unemployment insurance once upon a time. Buy Canada provision to business loans and scraps the EV mandate. Massive deficit incoming, folks. No getting around it. I'll play it.
What's going on is not a transition. It's a rupture. And its effect will be profound. Workers displaced from their jobs. Supply chains that have existed for decades disrupted. Companies forced to change where they find their materials and their products. And all of this is causing an extreme uncertainty that's holding back massive amounts of investment and, as a consequence, slowing economic growth. Just this morning, we see the impact in today's employment report in Canada, with unemployment rising across regions and sectors. This makes decisive action crucial. To be clear, we're in a position right now where Canada currently has the best trading deal with the United States of any of their trading partners. 85% of our trade with the U.S. is now tariff-free.
Was already.
We have the lowest tariff rate of any country in the world. But we also know that given all those changes, given the rupture, we can't rely on our most important trading partner as we once did. Le libre-échange depuis longtemps.
Free trade.
Okay, I have no patience.
There's more to this story, because he also said somewhere in there about he wants to expand more connections and partnerships with China. So that's a concern. That's the one side of me that thinks, like, is this guy putting on a production, or is he actually that China guy that still, is he going to?
If he does that, you're just looking to be punched in the mouth by Trump.
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
You're the guy with the goofy grin going, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Trump? Boom! Canada, you're going to get boxed. You know, you're going to go down very quickly. But did you hear the language? Rupture. There's a rupture happening.
Well, that plays into what we said. In the theory, he has to paint a picture that seems hopeless, but then he's got to build up a hope.
To work hard at it, Blake.
Yeah,
it is hopeless. We are fucked up beyond.
We're experiencing it in person, in live time. Everybody's feeling it now. It's happening. It's going to get worse. Real estate values have become stagnant or dropping. Everything is, Canada has survived off artificial pricing on real estate because it's highly controlled. It's not a free market system as much as you see in the US.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you get dependent off real estate and you're not dependent on creating jobs in healthy economies, when real estate becomes the single biggest producer of revenues for governments, that's a problem, right? All of a sudden, that's where they need to make their money, and they were, and banks were making their money off of it and all that. America went through that in 2008. Canada just staved it off for a long time. Our bubble is going to burst. So Carney knows this. He's an asset manager. He knows that the ground, when they buy into businesses and buy real estate, he can see from it as an asset manager, there is no value in Canada anymore. This is why my prediction, I believe, is part of the parcel. He's going to have to build a case why we're going to have to come into partnership. He's just placating to the elbows up crowd by saying, we need to find new partnerships. We're going to invest in all this and we can't trust the Americans, blah, blah, blah. That's just to cater to the elbows up left so that he can negotiate a deal quietly with Trump. It will come out then big, and it will be announced, not just a NAFTA-like agreement or the Kuzma agreement. Yeah. It will be a economic and security partnership. Look for those words when they add in security. Economic and security partnerships, because that's the language they'll start to use.
Our big, beautiful golden dome, Canada wants in on it.
Yeah. So security has to be part of the trade discussion.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we're blowing up boats, or the U.S. is. I say the royal we because I love America. But, you know, and I go good on.
Well, they're our allies, for crying out loud. We're partners, right?
Yeah. Traditionally so. So Carney's in a rock and a hard place. The rock is Trump, and the hard place is China and the EU and all the rest of it, and all this stupid. I mean, God, let's look at England for a bit. United Kingdom, the absolute dumpster fire that's going on there. God, David Lammy has just been identified, nominated, or appointed deputy prime minister. He's this guy playing the race card all the time over there. And then they got a Muslim woman, Abood or something, and she's like the foreign secretary. So it's just, these are high, this is like America's Secretary of State position, folks.
She's also in charge of borders. And
she's in charge of the border. Yeah, that'll earn you Nancy Pelosi. It's an absolute, and Elon Musk is going nuts on X platform, just going, England, fix yourselves or you're going to be done. There's no coming back for you. And then add to all the other pressures going on, the comedian that's been arrested, this for Ingraham or Linehan, Brian, is it Brian? Yep. Anyway, this Linehan character, comedy guy, the cops come out. They wrestle him up. They're going to arrest him. And John Cleese, of all people, from Monty Python's Flying Circus, Cleese goes, people can't even defend themselves in their homes. And then you've got the cops. People have now learned that you can't defend yourself in your home, and now we know that they're out there making the arrests with this guy, sending 5 cops to take down this comedian. Absolute dumpster fire over there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Eddie. Although soon we'll be American, hopefully, with any luck. But, the dream is over, as John Lennon sang. The dream is over. Canada, whatever it was with our beavers and our pristine forests and lands, I mean, I'm experiencing a certain degree of, newcomer fatigue as I'm watching some of these newcomers drop their garbage into pristine lakes in British Columbia and the like. Absolutely freaking heartbreaking. And totally against our total value system. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's get the comment off the screen here, even though it's a good comment. All right. The UK has fallen. 1969, Abbey Road, my favorite band, the Beatles. What the hell? Good Lord. What the heck is going on there? 2024, brand new group. I don't know what they're calling themselves, but holy shit. Well, while we're in the mood, Sue, why don't you play? I put one called Comedy Break.
I got
economic.
a comedy one too.
Oh, you got a comedy? Let's do a couple. Let's have a little comedy break in the proceeding. We've got 15 minutes left in the show. Let's do a little comedy. Go ahead. What do you got? Anyone you want. Scoozy's going to pick them out. All right, let's take a look. There's comedy, a couple of comedy. Okay, you got to go back to the beginning. Okay, so this is kind of fun. Dr. Jebra Fache, one of my favorite parody accounts on here. She is hilarious. Right now, she's got her face superimposed on somebody else. She does a lot of graphic stuff. It's funny as hell. It's hard to believe that people are still assuming gender and calling a woman sir in this day and age. Misgendering, a real crisis. Let's make it big, and then we'll see how she gets on. Here we go. Near and dear to me, of course.
Yeah, but he ran over there. She? She. Oh, you're a she? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, sir.
Sometimes you don't know.
No, get the fuck out. Give me the hat.
Huh?
Get out. You don't get to misgender me. I just told you that.
Well, I didn't know.
I just told you, and then you just misgendered me.
Like a two for
you
one?
Don't get a discount.
No?
No.
Even if we're buying two?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't believe you.
Well, that's okay. I'm still sorry, sir. I mean, ma'am. Fuck, I'm so. No, that was actually a slip. That was actually a slip. That was actually a slip. I'm sorry. That was actually a slip. That was a slip. That was a slip. No, I'm sorry. That was a slip.
I don't care. Give me.
Get the fuck up. I just think that is hilarious. You know, folks, and my fellow trans people, if you're out there and you want to be treated like a lady, then you got to look, act, and do the job. My friend Jenna Telikova, she did very good at Girl World. You never know. She's just a hot chick. But she's like a guy, right? XY chromosome, but she looks amazing. But you got these poor characters running around. They don't even you put them in a funny costume. Sue, would you wear a little outfit like that? You saw that person wearing? You couldn't pay you to wear that. It's like some sort of medieval barmaid, only with a slightly Snow White kind of sensibility about it. All right, have we got another one, Sue? Another comedy one?
Well, and I think some of it is disingenuous. It's not even real. They're just doing it because the purpose of their intent is to create fights, to walk offended. They want to trigger somebody to get it or get triggered.
Like the chip on my shoulder. It's like what was Robert Conrad? Remember him? Bob Black Sheep, the Wild West, and he used to do the Ever Ready,
the battery.
Not God dare you to knock up, son of a. He was a tough guy. We loved him. Okay, Sco. Here's another one. I don't know what she's got here for us. How they want us to treat people who break into your home in Toronto. Okay, let's see what's going on. Where there's been a lot of home invasions in Toronto. It's a mess.
And murders.
Make her big, Sue doll. All right, yeah, murders, all sorts of shit going on. Okay, let's say we're about to break in. Home invasion.
Hey, get in here. Close the door. I don't want you to get bit by the mosquitoes. So, first of all, thank you so much for choosing my house to rob today. There's so many options. It's a privilege for you to be here. I've got a selection of drinks for you to choose from. Great choice, Fancy Perrier. I like it. Okay, so the kids are upstairs sleeping right now, and if they wake up, it's really going to make this whole experience very unenjoyable for you. So to streamline the process, I've got a few things laid out. I've got a 50-inch 4K for you. I've got a MacBook Air, and I even have a pair of earrings from Peoples gifted to my daughter for her baptism. And really, who needs it more, you or her, am I right? Now, hold on. You look a little familiar. You're the one who took my car last year. I knew I recognized you. I love repeat offenders. So I didn't want to take away the full joy of you robbing my house. So these are just a few items. If you head upstairs to the master bedroom, my wife's jewelry is laid out for you. Take whatever you want. Head downstairs. You'll find my safe wide open for you. Take whatever you want. Now, I'm going to be in the kitchen making myself a sandwich. If you have any questions, feel free to come and join me. What's mine is already yours.
Yeah, it's sad but true. I mean, so we had the chief of police, or I don't know, in Ontario. He came out and did a little speech. And
it's pathetic.
Yeah, okay, so let's go see what his advice to us is. New police chief of Canada calls on all residents to comply with the criminal home invader if they ever find themselves such a sitch. And do not fight back. The best defense for most people is comply. All right, let's make them big and let's hear what he has to say.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive and be the best witness possible. This could mean locking yourself in a room away from the perpetrators, hiding, fleeing the home, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary. But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply, as you've just heard, a number of safety recommendations. In the unlikely event that you...
Okay, so so they're just comply. They're coming in. Hey, I'm here to rape your wife, and you go, oh yeah, absolutely. I am not going to be with her for a couple of days anyway. We just had a little hoochie-coo a couple of days ago. So please feel free, but clean up after yourself the wash, and we left some towels, some beautiful serviettes for you. Just
you don't mind waiting while we call 911 when the cops decide to show up too. We'll just, they'll come and take you in, and then you'll be out in 24 hours anyways, right?
Before you steal my phone, could I use 911? Could I dial, or you want it now? Okay, here you go. I'm just complying. Forget about 911.
Well, the show has come full circle, right? You just said at the beginning of the show talking about the toddler, 3 years old. So basically, it's cops saying, don't defend your child who's being raped because it was a home invader. It was a home invasion. The guy did it while the parents broke in.
Yes.
And strangled the kid too. Luckily, the kid survived. But the point was, that cop is saying, don't intervene. Don't put yourself at risk. Basically, don't hurt the guy doing it. It's like, oh, that's what he's really
saying.
Where
the law should be, grab a gun, the bigger the
blow
better.
his freaking brains out.
Where we've been talking about this, it's because that guy defended his home and stabbed an intruder and got arrested.
Yeah, that we had that happen. Well, the guy brought a crossbow in. He grabbed a kitchen knife. Then they charged him. 3 o'clock in the morning, he's woken up. Suddenly, you're minding your own business. You have no criminal record. You're living your best life. And suddenly somebody's at the foot of your bed wanting to rape you. Buggery is a big problem in Canada right now because of all the rainbow sidewalks everywhere. We got a buggery epidemic going on here, Blake. I don't know if you've experienced it. It's horrible. But I got to tell you that it's just nuts over here. So, and then
no pun intended.
And here's the other one. Oh, my God. Then there was a guy who died. He was killed in front of his kids. They broke into his house and killed him.
That was just recent in Ontario.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Okay, so we go. Not the bee. Canadians told to comply. Not the Babylon bee, right? The buck you will. Canadians told by police to comply with home invaders. Tone deaf. Warmington, page 3, blah, blah, blah. So after dad killed while defending the family, York, York suburb. Top cop says you should comply and wait for police in case of home invasion. Absolutely nonsensical. I like Florida. They had a cop in Florida. He just said, go out there and, put them in the ground as quickly and effectively as you can. This is, what do they call it? The castle laws, where a man's home is his castle. You want to be alive? Don't come into my place to rape the wife, to rip off all my great records. And don't do that if you want to live, right? Otherwise, we got to take you out. So, but here in Canada, oh no, God forbid, it's incredible. And of course, the system is a revolving door. So we get these criminals, just like in the parody, where the guy goes, hey, wait a sec, you look familiar. Aren't you the guy that ripped off my car last year? Hey, nice to see a repeat offender, because, good to see you here.
And even our politicians who you would think would be on the right side of this, guys like Doug Ford, who's an absolute maniac right now gone full liberal.
Oh, he's
in conservative clothing. He's a version of our Rhino in Canada. And he goes on, yeah, he was all mad because somebody tried to steal his car. And he goes, but then recently he's doing the same thing about what happened with this stabbing, and the guy had to fight with a knife. Well, it was more than one guy. The other guys ran off.
Yeah.
But the one guy he ended up beating in this fight, he'd use a kitchen knife to take him down.
Well, the guy had a crossbow. The villain had a crossbow.
So he was defending himself with reasonable force, in my opinion. A
Yeah,
crossbow
mine
versus a
too.
knife is pretty. The crossbow has an advantage from a distance, but he must have got up on him pretty quick to be able to get that crossbow down.
Crossbow, man, because those are deadly weapons.
They are.
You can fire one of those. You can be a foot away from somebody and launch a dart at them. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's fascinating about Doug Ford, he's going on trying to pretend he's supporting the people fighting for their lives in their homes. And then on the other end, it's his attorney general. It's his guys that are pushing with prosecutions against these people.
Government. Yeah, you're right.
You're the guy who's in charge, and you're prosecuting these people. Then you're turning around and lip servicing the public to think you're on their side. You're full of crap. This is the whole thing that's happening in Europe. This is happening here. Where they basically have their rapey gangs who could just seem to go to jail for all of 20 minutes, and they're out doing it again. And they're just allowed because there has to be cultural sympathies and crap like that. This is what's going on in Canada. Like, this has got to be planned. You can't not be this stupid of a nation to allow this stuff to happen. Common sense needs to prevail. Defending your wife, defending your life, defending that is a right.
Keep in mind, Canada is like England. We've got a population that has been brutalized by their government in form of debanking and arrests for memes, for people saying the wrong thing. They're slaughtering ostriches. It's dictatorial, autocratic, oligarchical. It's horrible. And, there seems to be in the natural realm, it seems Trump's the only hope for Canada. That thank God we're on that border, and that Trump could pull us.
Klaus Schwab. This is why it's planned and it's organized. And I know some of the people in the peanut gallery say, "Oh, here comes the tinfoil hat." He stated this. We are going to see an angrier world. It was predicted. This was predicted because it was planned. The planned decline and collapse so that they could redesign it. This is no different than what a disruptor company does. Comes in and disrupts in one industry. This is a global disruption. The guys took disruptor philosophy and added it to the global economic system that these bankers, central bankers in Europe and around the world conspired to do. You had to demolish the morale of your locals. That's I think what it is. They're blowing them up, making them hate where they live, hate their own countries, mad at everybody. It would be an angrier world in which these guys show up like messiahs with the plan that's going to save it all, which is you own nothing, you be happy. We're going to create a social credit system so that the baddies all have to prove that they're good citizens, blah, 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 all based on their thing. And I think that's what this is. This is what we're experiencing.
Controlled demolition
and then restructure, right? That's exactly what I think has happened. And Klaus Schwab said it. We're going to go into an angrier world because they're planning anger. They're creating anger. They're creating division. That was the point. And so Trump is, you're right. I think he's the one guy who stood up to it. And then others followed suit. We've got Bolsonaro in Brazil. If he can ever come back, he can fix Brazil. You've got Javier, what's his last name, in Argentina. He's changed things in Argentina. El Salvador is a small, with Central American country that was just a hellhole with this kind of activity. Drugs, CIA, all that stuff. Marxists were all in there. Now it's like it's the opposite. It's like they're embracing, law and order, but freedom and liberty and business and free markets and all that. It's goes against the central planners, right? That's what the central bankers are, the central planners as well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do another story. I mean, there's a million of stories that is just unbelievable. Let's do this. CTV. I want to just do this because this is the nature of CTV and how they're doing it. It's called vaccines. So kind of crazy, but we'll talk about it. Vaccines, it's called in the blue. I've put a link there from CTV News. And this is interesting. I'm not going to talk much about it other than just the nature of how legacy media communicates. CTV News. Florida is working to end its vaccine mandates. Here's what Canadians should know. Florida is working to end its vaccine mandates. Why the fuck are you talking about Florida when you're in Canada? What do you mean what we should know? It's Florida. It has nothing to do with Canada.
They're going after the snowbirds who by millions that go down there.
They're trying to scare senior Canadians from going down to Florida on their vacations because they're going to go down to an unvaccinated and frightening world.
Whatever. It's just, but the whole thing, you know what I'm saying, is like this is a foreign country with their policies, everything. Canada, and you got the CTV going, here's what Canadians need to know about this state. So just so they can use their platform with their propaganda about it all. I'd switch off whatever the fuck Canada think it's got for Florida in a heartbeat, in a bleeding heartbeat.
Yeah.
All right. That's
but this shows into their hypocrisy, and it's just they don't even hide it. And anybody who has a quarter of a brain can figure this out. The fact is they try and paint anybody who has an opposition viewpoint to the regime of Canada and as being maple MAGA. They're brutaling them in that way.
Yeah.
They're saying conservatives are, just basically trumpets here. And yet, foreign influenced by America, all that kind of stuff. Yet we're the ones that have been pointing the whole time, the foreign influence from China, the world. But who keeps bringing historically to Canada all the Democrats to come and speak here and be involved in Canadian politics? The same people are saying, oh, look at them down there. You guys up here are supporting them and you're influenced by Trump bots and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, hold on a minute. You're the guys who are bringing the Clintons here to do
Hillary was up here.
Obama, Clinton, Michelle Obama, I think, has done his speaking engagements for the Liberal Party of Canada. They brought in all these people and they have close ties with the Democratic Party. They go to their conventions. And you'll see the Canadians are there, or they'll be up here. They share the same. They're foreign influencing each other because they share the same values and worldview. And yet they try and paint that anybody who has this support for Trump in Canada is just trying to create maple MAGA. Really? So you're saying maple MAGA, which is basically make America great again, is make Canada great. So you're against Canada being great. I mean, that's just the hypocrisy. They don't understand
what it is,
the irony
Canada,
of their story.
Yeah, I'll explain this. Canadian government wants to keep the people home so they don't get exposed to freedom. Canada has the appearance of freedom. The problem is when you buck up against the system or you do something that the state does not like, then your civil rights end extremely quickly. Immediately are suspended. So you got a lot of elbow movement up here. It's shrinking, but you've got it. The problem is like Nova Scotia with the fire. You can't go in the park. That's sus. The land claims with the Indians here, but it's out in the rural areas. If they tried to do it downtown, there would be a revolution.
Well, that is happening, right? Richmond. They just did that.
Yeah, I know, but the point is that once they do that, you're going to get a revolution. What do you mean? I can't walk down the block to get home in my own town of Richmond? Yeah. Fuck you, Canada. I'm out of here. Yeah. So I'm just trying to speak to that. Like, if on the surface, you would never be visualizing the lack of freedom, but it happens at the grocery store with the demolition of our economy. The food and prices are going up. Like a couple of steaks are like $70 up here in Canada. It is absolutely
and we're a producer of beef in the world.
And
we're importing it from Australia.
It's all artificial. The whole thing's again planned demolition. Let's do one kind of. This is a light one. This is kind of fun. Pete Hesketh. I like Pete Hesketh a lot. Of course, Secretary of War, right? Secretary of Defense. Trump wants to call that the Secretary of War. This is funny. Lives at TikTok came out with a thing. I watched her post, and I said, I wonder if somebody's going to address this, if somebody's going to share it. Somebody tagged Hesketh. And so Hesketh came in on it. But the original is, scroll it up, just Lives at TikTok. It goes, yikes. And can you, never mind. This, she, her Navy commander. Okay, go back.
Oh,
sorry. So, whoops, hang on. We're got it. This she, her Navy commander is apparently a medical director, transgender healthcare at a naval center in California. Janelle Mara, DOFAAFP, a bunch of initials. Transgender healthcare. There's the tranny flag. Scroll up. And there's Pete Hesketh. Pronouns updated. She, her, fired. Put that in there. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Absolutely love the humor of it. Yeah, but if you want a fighting force, listen, fellow trans people, you want to be all, all fun and all flirty, and you're all like, oh, my nails are, that's great. But don't do it in the military. If the military is there to do one thing, kill people.
Yeah.
That's what the military, they break things and kill people.
That's what Rush Limbaugh used to say all the time. They're there to kill people and break things.
Yeah, that's what their job is. Absolutely right. Who told you that?
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh said that.
He used to say that in the 1990s. Yeah,
he's absolutely right. It's an old saying, but he couldn't be more right. Okay, let's work through some of these stories. There's a lot on the go. Okay, Scosie's got to pick one right out of her magic little hat. Whatever you feel like, whatever's there that we haven't.
Yeah, we can go overtime, no problem. It's Friday. Yeah. Let's have some fun.
Okay, what has she got here? Uh-oh, somebody's yelling. Breaking news, Bulgarian migrant Fatos Ali Domana has been charged by police Scotland with assaulting a minor. Don't play the video, probably get the show taken down or some bloody thing, but scroll up and then we'll see. It's justice for Lola and Ruby. Turn the sound right off on it and just get the picture of the little girl so people know the reference point.
Oh, it's the axe girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In Scotland.
And I won't show that.
Yeah. Just like that. Don't show the web. So here these little girls were being harassed. And the story is, scroll up again, back to the thing. So they got this Bulgarian, Fatos Ali Dumana. He's been charged. And apologies to the little girls for the lies told about them. Justice for Lola and Ruby Moore, or Moore, is the family name. So great news out of there. I mean, this story, I don't even want to, dwell on that too much, but great that they caught the guy. And that
they're saying police,
yeah,
Scotland police originally claimed
yes.
that the CCTV footage went missing, but it proved that only Lola Moore had committed a crime by being in possession of dangerous weapons.
Yes.
And it didn't show that like she had been assaulted, etc.
These two girls, girls were missing, reported missing, for they've been gone. I don't know how long.
So she was protecting her sister too.
Yeah, it is now claimed.
And the sister is younger.
Lie, and there is proof that Police Scotland attempted to cover up the crime of Fatos and his sister assaulting the little girls. So anyway, there's a whole.
It's just horror. It's horror upon horror. It's offense upon offense. Talk about trying to demoralize a population. Shit like that is demoralizing. Sue and I were having a little talk just before the show, and it's really hard sometimes to keep your head cool and calm and collected, knowing that the Lord, he got the whole world, and the great, how great thou art, the Lord. The earth is the Lord's and fullness thereof. So, despite the troubles, the woes, and Satan doing his best to turn this world upside down, destroy everything, God wins, and the Lord is in control. So, now abides faith, hope, and charity. Have faith in God, hope in God, and the love that God has for us, and the love that we return. Okay.
It shall pass, as we know.
This too shall pass. Boy, oh boy, heaven and earth will pass away. Okay. Anything else we got that we haven't covered, Sue? Okay. That's it. Blake, anything else we haven't touched upon that you want to go over?
No, I think we covered a lot of stuff today, but there's always something to chat about. But I think it's, I think you ended on a good note there. I think that's people need to take comfort in the Lord. That's where your life needs to be right now. There is chaos everywhere. It's too easy to get caught up and want to run out there with your pitchforks. But, I think that's kind of the intent. I think they're trying to push for that. And I think, we just need to be steadfast and actually follow in the same footsteps, really, of in more recent times, like a Martin Luther King Jr. It's just, you peaceably protest. You make your points. You make your speech. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah,
but please, that doesn't mean turn the other cheek when somebody's breaking into your house, though.
No. That's just ridiculous. That's how you get yourself dead. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we got one more. Sue's pulled one out of her hat. Let's see what we got.
In the old neighborhood.
Really bad accident involving an 18-wheeler 1 kilometer south of Yale in British Columbia 1 hour ago.
Always happens there.
Vehicles, scroll up. Multiple vehicles. There we go. Yale. Of course, Blake was the head of the heritage site there. That looks familiar. Okay, it looked like one of the usual suspects there. There he is. Oh, my goody gosh. Anyway, that is just crazy. Horrible stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe out there on the highways and byways. We'll be back on Tuesday, hopefully. Blake, we love you. Thanks for another great show and bring us some heat. And ladies and gentlemen, give us a thumbs up. And I think that's about it. Subscribe if you feel like it. And we'll be back Tuesday. Bye for now. Boom.
Good. Thank you.
Patreon. So going to be on tonight for private Patreon program. If you got the money, you can see it. 4 o'clock Pacific.